Hi guys, I'm Bob Wahan. I'm the publisher of ResultsOn, and we are here with Chris McCann, the creator of Startup Digest. This is Chris. Hi Chris, how are you?
I'm very
And
good.
Pierre Sherman, angel investor, long-term entrepreneur, bunch of companies that I don't recall the list, but it's a well-known entrepreneur in Brazil. And we're here at the end of another entrepreneurship week, global entrepreneurship week, that happened last week until yesterday night. Chris came to honor us in Brazil to share a little bit of his knowledge during the week, specifically on Startup Week in São Paulo that happened for the first time this weekend with a strong energy. And the idea is that we talk a little bit about what's going on here, what's going on in Silicon Valley, understand what is Startup Digest, what's all about it, and a little bit about this young guy here, Chris McCann. So first of all, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is Startup Digest? And what are you doing here?
I live in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley. So just here visiting. I got here 2 days ago. So still kind of recovering from jet lag and everything. But I started this company called Startup Digest, which is a weekly email of the best startup events. So we don't cover news or analysis, it's just the events. It's what's going on in the area. And it's all broken up by city. So we cover now 57 separate cities, including São Paulo, and Pierre is the curator for the São Paulo issue. And essentially it's free. You can go to the site, sign up, and you get a weekly email on Monday kind of telling you what's going on in the area. Whether you live there and you want to know what's going on, or you're outside and you want to see what's happening inside the city, you can sign up and kind of get a feel for what's going on in entrepreneurial startup in the specific cities you're interested in.
And what was the motivation for you to do that?
So I moved to Silicon Valley in June of 2009. And when I first moved there, I had no family there, no friends there. I was new to the area. I didn't freaking know anybody. So I was just going to events really just to kind of meet people, get connected. Just because I was new. I didn't have friends. I didn't have anything to do.
And you couldn't find a place where you could find all the events.
So I was really looking for something like this for myself originally. I thought Silicon Valley, there has to be some simple guide or something for me to do. There's things like in the U.S. like Eventbrite and Plancast and Meetup and a lot of these things, but none of them told you what was quality, what was actually good. All of them are, hey, here's this big list of everything going on, but what's actually happening tomorrow and what's actually good. So I started making this little digest originally for myself. Okay. It was just for me.
Well, I think Yahoo started the same way, right? The guys started to do their own listing of things on the web, right?
So originally it was just for me. So I was doing this for a couple months, and then I was working at this place called Plug and Play Tech Center. It's kind of an incubator investment fund out of Silicon Valley. And some of my friends there were like, hey, this is really cool. Do you want to send this to me too? So that's kind of how the digest started. So in November of 2009, almost exactly 1 year ago, we sent one email to 22 friends. Just real simple in Gmail. It's like, hey, here's some cool things in Silicon Valley. It was just a short little listing of them. And it just spread off like crazy in the incubator. Everybody wanted to be on this list.
And now how many are on this list?
So it started at 22. Now we have about 80,000 subscribers. I think we passed that a little bit.
No advertising, right?
No, it's all completely organic, internal.
And it became your own startup, or that's what you do for a living now?
So it's me, a co-founder, Brendan McManus. We hired 2 people. It's a full company. Media company.
A media company.
Media company, right?
A media group soon, right?
International media company.
There you go.
Yeah, good. You've been here for just a weekend, and we met yesterday, and I know Portuguese is a little bit different from what you normally use as a language, kind of tricky, But tell us a little bit of what's your feeling of what's going on here in Brazil, what you saw, the people you met, what do you think? With a quick look for only 2 days, what would be like you? Brazil is, in terms of startups and entrepreneurship.
We wrote a little post on this. One thing that's very, very clear is everybody I've talked to about Brazil, there is a huge market opportunity here. There's, I think, like 200 million people that live here. Was it like 60 million internet users? Like those numbers, like in the United States, just completely unfathomable. It's crazy. It's not only that, but it's growing at 8%, 8.8% per year. So it's growing way faster than the whole economy is way faster than the United States. The United States is pretty much stagnant or not growing at all.
Right.
So this is kind of part of the BRIC, one of the fastest growing emerging economies in the world. What I'm tending to see is most of the startups here are very focused on Brazil internal. They're very, very Brazil Portuguese heavy. And it's very hard for me to kind of get a complete understanding of what they do because I'm not 100% familiar with the market here.
Not a complete, but a small understanding of what's going on, right?
Because I was telling him there's a guy who's doing an email product, we're an email-based company, so it's very near and dear to what we're doing. And he was like, oh yeah, some of the big email guys are like this guy and this guy and this guy. And I'm like, I've never heard of any of these people. Like it's very, very foreign to what I'm used to.
And what about entrepreneurs?
Like at the startup weekend yesterday, there was about, I think, 80 people there. All of them, the one team that won, the guy was like, won a soccer game. He's like, ah! He's like, go at the end, like they're all hugging. Like people are definitely like excited about it. People want to do it. Like there's developing talent. They actually made things. Like there's definitely like a senior. There's definitely some issues that you get in. One I've heard was that a lot of people will take consulting contracts and to make reoccurring revenue as opposed to building a product and kind of taking that. I've heard that the kind of angel investment scene, especially on the very, very small kind of seed levels, very hard. There's not kind of a central place for everybody to kind of hang out and get together after the weekend or Global Entrepreneurship Week. Where do you kind of find all these people? So it definitely has some of its issues, but I'd say the big recurring themes are there's people here, there's developer talent here, the market opportunity is really big, and people are focused on that, and they're gonna take advantage of the opportunity here.
Right.
And how do you think that that Silicon Valley looks at Brazil? Because you're obviously very well inserted there, and if, I'm sure you had a surprise when you came here and saw all these numbers and all this stuff that's out of the radar, right? Below the radar.
Silicon Valley. So when I told friends I was going to Brazil, everybody's like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like I've just heard things about it. Like it's very like.
But we're talking about girls, or they're talking about startups.
A little bit of both. But more on the business side. Like everybody's heard of Brazil, how fast it's growing. It's kind of similar to China and its speed its growth. But I don't think a lot of people there actually know what's happening here, from a ground floor, from what's just going on. Like it's kind of very out of our radar.
Very conceptual still.
So though we've heard of it, Brazil, I know there's a big market there, that's very cool you're going, we don't really get to kind of hear about the stories there that are going on. So I think while a lot of people think, it's really cool and stuff like that, even myself, I had really no kind of understanding of what I was getting myself into. Pierre invited me, and I said, okay.
Why not, right?
So I didn't really have much expectations. Because, just to back up, Silicon Valley is also kind of very Silicon Valley. It's very, we call it kind of the Silicon Valley bubble, although that might be a bad term to use now. But everybody in Silicon Valley is looking at what people are doing in Silicon Valley, look at what other Silicon Valley people are using, oh my god, the social app. A lot of the people there really don't consider even what's going on in LA or Chicago, inside the only United States. They don't really care. They really care just what's happening inside Silicon Valley. So there's very few people I'd consider me and Dave McClure, maybe Jeff Clavier. There's a very select group of people who actually get outside of the box, the bubble every now and then, and kind of go outside. But the general population there is just so kind of
really focused on.
Yeah. But did anyone ask you to bring more formal information about Brazil, or it's just curiosity right now?
It's just more curiosity, which is why we wrote that post yesterday. We call it kind of your guide to the São Paulo startup.
We missed some people there, but we're gonna add some people to you later on.
It wasn't on.
We are 200 million people. You named 5 or 6. We need to put some more people there, but that's okay.
We were trying to stay focused.
No, sure.
We're dead. But it's at least get some sort of a sense of what is happening, who are some of the people, and if you are interested in even kind of traveling here. I think there's people like Betty, who did the startup weekend, who brings kind of entrepreneurs over here to Silicon Valley and brings people back there over here, that are kind of helping to bridge the gap a little bit. And then I think Diego from Startups PI, he was saying that like kind of recently he's been getting a lot of kind of investor interest from like the private equity and hedge fund world, asking him, okay, like what's happening inside Brazil for more of like an investment standpoint. So I think as it continues, if the economy goes as well as everything's projected to be, you're going to get more and more people excited, just because like I said, the US is pretty stagnant. So the rest of the growth, even for us, is all outside the United States. So the more companies that realize that, the more they're going to be interested in care and want to know this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think, and that's part of our mission here on ResultsOn. You know, through content, try to spread it out. You know, and make people more interested and looking for more information and some formal information, right? Because I think the spirit, you know, the happiness of Brazilians and the energy of Brazilian startups, it's already starting to spread out, but we need more, right? We need to know information, the numbers and the potential and all the tricky things that still exist here. Now people know to understand how to operate that here, right? You're not originally from the Silicon Valley, right?
No.
You were there since 2009.
Yeah, June of 2009.